What's up, metal and heavy music fans? These are some of the best metal albums you should check out this week.
Watch me shatter.
Alright, but first, let's just pull the band-aid off and get the rough one out of the way first. We've got Bullet for My Valentine releasing their self-titled album via Spinefarm Records. Full disclosure, despite being a card-carrying metalcore fanatic in the 2000s, I never really liked Bullet for My Valentine. In short, I'm pretty underwhelmed with this one, but I'm gonna let you check out my full album review for my extended thoughts. That out of the way, we have Mole with Diorama via Nuclear Blast Records. Mole is a post-black and black gaze band from Denmark, highly recommended for fans of Numenorian and Deafheaven. In fact, if you found yourself wishing that Deafheaven's latest album was on the heavier side, this album is right up your alley. Mole seamlessly fuse high emotive atmosphere with catchy riffs to utter perfection. Every song is an incredible display of raw feeling, complemented by harsh, phlegmy vocals with just a touch of that Lord Mantis and Skeleton Witch flair. If you ask me, Mole is one of the best kept news secrets in the genre, and if you love Diorama, you should also check out their previous album, Jord. Easily one of my favorite albums of the month already, and possibly of the entire year. Then we have a split with Bestial Tongues and Blemish. Bestial Tongues already made my best of the month list earlier this year with Deconsecrated, but mere months later they're back at it again with this equally ferocious grindcore split. Fans of Pig Destroyer rejoice at the straight-for-the-throat violence of tracks like Droning Hum and Ritualistic Mutilation. Meanwhile, Blemish doubled down on this even more, with most tracks clocking in at under a minute. Sometimes 13 seconds is all you need. I won't tell you that there's anything going on here that elevates the genre, but I don't think that most people come to grindcore looking for that to begin with anyways. Then we have Autokrator with Persecution via Krucyator Productions. Autokrator is a French death metal band that initially sent shockwaves through the underground with this self-titled debut. An album that many described as death drone, hypnotically punishing the listener with its revelations-worthy collisions of tectonic plates. Once more, Persecution uses the backing of the Roman Empire to paint a bloody portrait of human history. Joining black metal tinged guitars and relentless blast beats with death growls and dense atmosphere, this is extreme metal that should appeal to fans of the likes of Portal and Alterage as well. And at just 6 tracks, Autokrator understand that brutality is often best conveyed with a sense of brevity. Then we have Blind Tiger with Blind Tiger. Blind Tiger are a dissonant mix of hardcore, mathcore, and progressive music that tend to prioritize raw expression over all else. Performances aren't always pretty, frequently feeling improvised on the spot, but as with many of the early classics in the genre, this only adds to the charm. Match this with the constantly shifting and evolving instrumentation, including some interesting flourishes of synth and trumpet, and you've got a pretty unique and interesting EP on your hands. The noisy, chaotic guitars and devil-may-care vocals definitely won't be for everyone, but if you love albums like Hot Damn and Nuclear Sad Nuclear, this may be right up your alley. On a completely different note, we have Sarke with Allsighr via Soulseller Records.
The veil of light hides the darkest secrets. A mental door.
If you've been enjoying Isan's later career output, I think you're really going to love Sarke. They infuse a similar sense of psychedelia into a black metal foundation, making for a wonderfully twisted journey of elements both old and new. From the rumbling, doomy bass lines and proggy synths of the title track, to the bouncy early Bjork percussion sections of Through the Thorns, to the rocking Motorhead guitars of Beheading the Circus Director, this is an album with serious reverence for music as a whole.
Bleak reflections. A painful disarray.
And in case you didn't know, that's Darkthrone's Nocturno Culto on vocals. His raspy snarls somehow match perfectly to all of these styles without ever having to shift his own. If you want to hear some black metal with a little more to say than most this month, don't sleep on Sarke. Next up is Glassing with Twin Dream via Brutal Panda. Glassing is an Austin, Texas band fusing black metal, post-hardcore, and noise that I'd also recommend to fans of Death Heaven and those who enjoyed that last LLNN album I previously covered. What follows is a constantly shifting and somewhat unpredictable framework of raucous noise, battering violence, and drifting passages of deep introspection. It's an intense contrast of blistering, primal screams with a soothing salve of ethereal ambience. To be perfectly honest, I don't like Twin Dream as much as the previous album, Spotted Horse, which was actually among my favorites of 2019, but definitely a band worth checking out if you're into this style. Then we have Omnium Gatherum with Origin. I actually called in Chris for this one since he did a full review you can check out on metaltrenches.com. But to share just a snippet, with this album, Omnium Gatherum haven't drastically reinvented what they're doing on the songwriting front, but they've been smart to ensure that there are always specific melodies from either the guitar or keyboards that stick with you on every single song. The peaks approach the epic levels of New World Shadows, while the dips into other metal styles like death and doom and black metal feel more integrated than on some of the group's past discography. Next, we have Portrayal of Guilt with Christfucker. Portrayal of Guilt already dropped one of my favorite underdog bangers just a few months back in We Are Always Alone, and this continues down the more Lord Mantis reminiscent Blackened Sludge path of that album. But unsurprisingly, with a title like Christfucker, they've really outdone themselves in being even more vile and depraved than ever. Seemingly designed to rile up the more evangelical crowd and without any of the nuance of Midnight Mass, this short but straight for the jugular release plays out like the most sacrilegious of horror movies.
Sacrilegious.
And all while going for a lower fi production I would compare to the latest release from Full of Hell. It's a harrowing experience devoid of any sense of light. Even the guest spot from Touche Amore's Jeremy Boehm lacks any sense of optimism. And then there's SeeYouSpaceCowboy with the romance of Affliction via Pure Noise Records. Depending on what faction of my audience you're from, you will either love or hate this one. Personally though, this is basically a time capsule of everything I was listening to back in high school. SeeYouSpaceCowboy truly excel at fusing together all of the best elements of early 2000s metalcore, mathcore, screamo, and post-hardcore. We're talking Norma Jean, Hopesfall, Glassjaw, Zayo, The Bled, and Haste the Day, as well as pop-punky clean singing reminiscent of Under Oath's They're Only Chasing Safety. It's a chaotic collage of panic chords, breakdowns, soaring, sparkling choruses, and a broad spectrum of vocal styles. And even features guest spots from Every Time I Die's Keith Buckley and Under Oath's Aaron Gillespie. I absolutely adore this album for just how accurately it captures all of the same feelings the classics did back then, and without ever feeling like a simple knockoff. For my money, one of the most exciting new bands in the genre right now. Y'all, if you're new here, check out this playlist for even more of my 2021 recommendations, and let me know down in the comments what are your favorite metal albums from this month. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.